Hi, I'm Alexander Goodwin. I'm the Senior Demand Generation Manager here at Fingerprint. I mainly help running paid ads, ABM campaigns, email campaigns. We've been using Spotlight for about 3 months, if I remember correctly. We started when the product was initially in beta, and now it's going into full release. So we've been definitely using it since it was initially released. Our main use case is around account-based marketing. So we actually build our flow using the data from Spotlight. We track our engagement for our different advertising efforts across LinkedIn, Meta, that sort of thing. We also integrate or pull the data in from our website, so around like the Reddit data, any other like platforms where we do paid ads. It's given us the insight to understand what's happening before an account visits our website. So it helps us to understand which sort of ads are resonating with which sort of organizations, improve our paid ad spend, our allocation, and then it's also given us the ability to really enhance our attribution. So getting a more complete picture of what happens before an account actually converts or is responsive to outbound is really helpful in understanding what's working and what isn't working. And it's just really given us that increased visibility into the account journey. So we were using a few different tools prior to using Spotlight. We have our own attribution data. Our product is actually a visitor ID, so we track user behavior on our website innately, so we can get some understanding there, but it can be really hard to make that work for an ABM or an account-based marketing perspective. So we've used a couple of different tools in addition to our own tracking. We worked with Dream Data for a while. That was mainly sort of an attribution solution, so it had less of a focus on that active decision making and was much more around the passive insights. And the data really wasn't as strong, so it didn't give us the ability to make effective decisions. We didn't feel really confident. It was a black box rather than being more of a visible data solution, and so it wasn't really helpful for us. We also concurrently used Sixth Sense, which is more of like an intent-based ABM solution. Doesn't actually work off of the engagement data and isn't as customizable. So we had a lot of limitations there. The main one being around getting the data into our CRM. So we really see Salesforce as our single source of truth, and both on the RevOps, the sales, and the marketing side, we like to keep things consistent there and also try and power as many things as possible from there. So Spotlight's really helpful for us in that way, because we can get the data straight into Salesforce and kind of make those decisions, power those workflows with much ease. I think really there's like three main challenges. So one is, as every ABM marketer or just anyone that works in demand gen in general knows, it can be really difficult to clean up our audiences. So a lot of times we might be serving ads to a target list of companies, and we see some of those companies seeing hundreds and hundreds of ad impressions, and that's sort of like eating up our budget and maybe cutting into our ad spend. So with Spotlight, we were able to really understand which accounts were seeing our ads, what the density looked like, and then make adjustments as needed. If we saw an account that, for example, has 200 plus ad impressions but has never clicked on an ad or has never visited our website, we then can start to hypothesize that maybe either that messaging isn't resonating, or the ad or the account is not the correct one for us to be targeting. So we can kind of make those short-term adjustments to really improve our campaign setup. The second challenge was around building an account-based marketing flow. So as I mentioned earlier, we've used a few different solutions for this, and a lot of ABM tools are really designed around account intent or customer intent, and that sometimes is a limited decision-making variable, because you don't know what that intent actually means. Spotlight has given us the ability to really just see the input data and then allow us to build outputs that match that. So we can see when an account has had an impression, when an account has had a click, when an account has visited our website, responded to an email, engaged with someone from our sales team, and then we can make decisions based on that. So it's allowed us to build out a really comprehensive stage-based model that enables us to serve the right ads and the right offers to accounts based on where they are, whether they've been to our website once, whether they've read a blog article, or they have a good understanding about our product. We can then start to trigger different experiences for those accounts and then really just improve our advertising substantially as a result. And then finally, it's just given us the ability to get that full view of account engagement, as I mentioned earlier. So we have always been using some sort of like visitor identification tool on our website, but we've just never been able to like get the full picture. There's a lot of inaccuracy issues, but since we've been using Spotlight, we've really been able to clean that up, and now we feel highly confident that every time an account that visits our website, especially one that we're targeting, we're able to visualize, what that experience looks like, if that's actually the account, and then make decisions that are correlated with that activity. I think right now the two main teams that it's impacting outside of marketing, the first would be the RevOps team. So as I mentioned, getting that additional account identification data on the website has helped them to improve our intent tracking. So we have this high intent dashboard that we use across the sales org. And so the RevOps team is responsible with building that out, and getting the additional like web engagement data, the additional account engagement data has enabled them to improve that and level it up. So now they have another source of insight that the sales team can use to make decisions, and they're really building that out. And then on the other side of things, our outbound sales team, specifically our BDRs, are using this data. So whenever an account reaches a specific stage, for us it's what we call stage 3, we know that they've had a lot of ad impressions, a lot of ad clicks, and they've visited our website. We've created this new intent layer that they can now use as sort of a targeting methodology. So when they have a list of like 1,000 targeted accounts, they can filter that down and see the accounts that already are showing some level of genuine intent and engagement, and then start to prioritize their outreach to those accounts as opposed to just the other cold accounts on the list. My favorite feature, I would have to say the ability to get the data off platform. I think a lot of like ABM tools are very greedy with keeping all of the data in-house, but Spotlight has been really helpful for us in terms of getting all of that data into Salesforce, being able to run reports there where we can see how many accounts have had ad engagements in the last 90 days, seeing what our ABM target list looks like and what the status is, really just being able to do whatever we want with that data in and outside of the platform, I think has been tremendously helpful. I would say there's two main outcomes that we've seen. One is Spotlight has saved us a lot of hours of list cleaning, audience building, and data exports. And we've also seen in the last 3 months, millions of dollars of opportunities attributed to Facebook, LinkedIn, and Reddit that we previously couldn't visualize. So I think it's perhaps given us the opportunity to understand the true impact of our advertising efforts. One is, export the data into Salesforce. A lot of times in marketing, it can be difficult to justify your activity and really validate your efforts, but being able to get that data into Salesforce and align it with leads, opportunities, campaign impacts can really help to track the actual account engagement. The other one I would say is, use the data within Spotlight to segment your accounts by engagement. I think this has really helped us to build out a more effective advertising framework where we feel confident that we're aligning the message with what the account is looking for at that time. And so I'd say that's definitely the biggest trick and one of the greatest features about the platform. So covering our stage-based account-based marketing framework that we've got set up here in Spotlight. So we use 5 stages currently. This example is one that we're currently running for our upcoming quarterly campaign into our Q3 for this year. So we have 5 stages. The first stage being unaware. So in this stage, we're looking for accounts that have less than 3 LinkedIn impressions underneath this OKR theme, which is our custom field. We then progress into the second stage. Now we're looking for accounts that have some impressions but have not yet had meaningful engagement. The idea here is we're going to send these folks content-focused advertising to drive deeper discovery and engagement. And so you can see we're looking for impressions equal or greater than 3. And we have this additional or group, which is looking for less than 3 LinkedIn clicks and less than 1 form submission. That's just making sure that we are sending the right offer to the right audience here. And then as we progress into the third stage, this is when we get more product focused. So we have slightly higher criteria to be within this cohort. So we're looking for greater than 10 LinkedIn impressions, greater than 3 LinkedIn clicks, greater than 1 website visit, and a last LinkedIn form date within the last 90 days. This is an all group. And then we also have this exclusion group just to make sure we're not accidentally capturing anyone that is a bit further down the funnel and serving them messaging that just doesn't really make sense. As we progress into the fourth stage, now this is where we're trying to actually capture demand. So we're looking for high intent page views, have someone visited the pricing, the demo, our contact sales page, have any of these accounts attended a webinar. We typically associate that with op progression or being a preceding action for form submissions. And then we're looking for high or very high engagement score as well. We want to make sure that we're capturing anyone that has genuine intent and then trying to drive them with the more high value offers. We're willing to pay a little bit more per click to get these accounts onto our website. And then finally, we have our retargeting layer. So here we're looking for form submissions that have occurred. And we're also checking for the last website visit to make sure that it's not in the last 90 days. Typically, we think of accounts moving into this retargeting phase once they've previously taken an action but have not visited our website in the last 90 days, and they're still included in the campaign. And that's essentially it. We also have this replicated for our normal account-based marketing workflow, but in this scenario, this is specific for a quarterly campaign that we're running. The other suggested improvements I would kind of make here would be to have exclusions between the stages. That's something we need to work on getting right, and then just making sure that there's some sort of icebox for when accounts have too many touches to make sure that you're not wasting spend. We've been using the Spotlight audiences for Meta. It's been helping us a lot just in terms of building out that stage-based configuration, but also just like running analysis as well. We recently did some newsletter campaigns, so we wanted to see what the accounts that were associated with those visits looked like, but also what happened after they clicked on those newsletter ads. And so Spotlight helped us to do that as well with the UTM features there as well. We actually have our audiences here in target groups. And you can see that we've built these out into the stages. So we have stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, and stage 5. And those are all built out based on those requirements using the segments.